You see stories like this on the ID channel or any crime channel about people getting catfished, taken away from their families, and end up hurt or unalived. I pray that nothing happens like that. Guys, please join me Tuesday at 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. It will be a final farewell and best wishes party. I want everybody to know that I was a good man. I loved her unconditionally. Guys, I'm running out of time. Thank you for listening. I love you guys.
Interstate 75 was shut down in both directions near Payne's Prairie. All traffic was stopped. Helicopters circled overhead. Law enforcement vehicles lined the shoulder for miles. Drivers had no idea why a major interstate between counties had suddenly ground to a halt. What they didn't know yet was that two women had already met their end. They didn't know that the person suspected of doing it was now inside a pickup truck just off the roadway. Nor did they know that this incident began hours earlier on a quiet road in Union County, or that it had escalated so quickly that authorities made the decision that shutting down a major highway was the only way to keep the public safe. At the center of all of this was a domestic situation that had already crossed a point of no return, a situation that unfolded in private and then online, and then finally in full view of multiple law enforcement agencies and the world. What happened before that interstate was closed would only later become clear, and even now, parts of it remain disputed, alleged, but all deeply unsettling. In this video, I will share with you real video evidence that you would not believe if you didn't see it. On the afternoon of February 3rd, 2026, Union County Sheriff's Office received multiple 911 calls. The calls reported deafening blasts that were coming from the Providence area of Western Union County. The location was Southwest County Road 241, a rural stretch outside Lake Butler, Florida. Deputies were dispatched at approximately 4:30 p.m. When they arrived, they found two adult women at the scene. Both of them were unresponsive. Both had suffered apparent gunshot wounds. Both were pronounced deceased on location. One of the women was identified as Candice P. Joseph. She was 43 years old and lived in Lake Butler. The second woman was from San Antonio, Texas. She was known online as Angel, and that's how we'll refer to her in this video. Candice, by the way, she had a huge following on TikTok. At the time that all of this happened, she had amassed 675,000 followers. On her account, she talks a lot about star signs, and she also promoted various items with affiliate links. But why were these two women, one from Florida, one from Texas, in a car together at all? Before deputies could secure the area where both women had met their end, the person suspected of pulling the trigger was already gone. The suspect had left the scene before law enforcement had even arrived. He had taken a vehicle and fled to Union County. Within minutes, what began as a local response now became something much larger, because the man that deputies were now looking for, he was believed to be armed and dangerous, and he was already traveling at high speeds. Investigators quickly identified a person of interest. The suspect was named Jason Eric Holton. He was 47 years old, and he lived in Lake Butler, Florida as well.
Now, Candace, if you do see this message, which I'm sure you will, not message, but post, I love you very much. You always have a place right here. Nothing can change that. You deserve to be happy. You deserve peace.
According to investigators, deputies determined that Jason had fled the scene in a four-door, 2020 black Ford F-150 pickup truck. Whilst authorities were still on the scene assessing victims and gathering witness information, they were able to make contact with Jason by phone, and that call confirmed what they already feared. Jason was no longer in the area, so a statewide notice was issued almost immediately. The Union County Sheriff's Office contacted the Florida Department of Law Enforcement in order to assist with this urgent investigation. Neighbouring agencies were also alerted to be on the lookout for the black Ford F-150. Nobody knew where Jason was heading. All they knew is that he was armed and frantic, and that 2 people were already lost. Just after 5 p.m., the Alachua County Combined Communications Center received a call from Union County authorities. They were advised that a double homicide had occurred within the previous hour and that the suspect was possibly traveling through their county. Multiple agencies now began coordinating in real time. Deputies from Alachua County Sheriff's Office, along with officers from High Springs Police Department and the Alachua Police Department, were now using resources to track the vehicle. This combined information indicated that the vehicle had moved through High Springs and the town of Alachua, and then shortly after, it was believed to have entered Interstate 75. Now the situation had changed. What began on a rural county road was now heading towards one of the busiest roads in the region. At approximately 5:26 p.m., a deputy spotted the Ford F-150. The truck was now travelling southbound on Interstate 75 near mile marker 386. The deputy followed at a distance and was relaying in real time critical information to dispatch. Additional units moved into position. At approximately 5:30 p.m., law enforcement then attempted to conduct a traffic stop. Jason, though, he didn't pull over. Instead, he accelerated and continued southbound at a high rate of speed. Given the nature of the incident in Union County and the danger that was now posed to the public, troopers made a decision. A Florida Highway Patrol trooper executed a precision immobilization technique, or pit maneuver. The maneuver forced the truck to come to a rest on the west shoulder of I-75. With the vehicle now stopped, authorities immediately shifted to containment. The road was shut in both directions. With so much damage already done, the priority now was saving more lives and preventing civilian injuries. Law enforcement issued repeated commands for the driver to exit the vehicle. However, there was no response. Minutes passed, and specialized units were activated. The SWAT team now arrived. The aviation unit took to the air. The Gainesville Police Department drone unit was deployed as well. The negotiations response team was brought in. Despite repeated attempts to make contact with Jason, he remained silent. At this point, officers could not assume anything. They didn't know if Jason was injured. They didn't know if he was preparing to engage, just lying in wait. All they knew is that he was not responding, and the situation was not over. After an extended period with no response, law enforcement now adjusted their approach. Jason by now had ignored multiple commands, and still the potential risk to responding officers remained unknown. Using specialized equipment and tactics, members of the SWAT team now approached the truck. They moved in carefully. They assumed nothing. When they reached the vehicle, they made a discovery that brought the standoff to an end. Jason Eric Holton, he was inside the truck. He was the only occupant, but he was also unresponsive. Investigators determined that Jason had met his end by his own hand in that vehicle. No rounds were discharged by officers. No additional suspects were involved.
So it's important to remember that the priority of innocent citizens must always remain at the top of the list. And so that decision to immediately shut down a major artery, a major roadway in between counties, within our own county, I commend those deputies and those troopers for making that decision. That is truly what kept our public safe.
I-75 was closed in both directions from Williston Road to Micanopy as a precaution, diverting drivers off the interstate while tactical teams and aviation units responded. Authorities say the decision allowed deputies and troopers to secure the area and prevent any potential harm to drivers or nearby communities.
Interstate 75 remained closed as investigators secured the scene. Crime scene units documented the vehicle and the surrounding area, and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. They assumed responsibility for investigating what had happened to Jason and to the two women in Union County. So, at this point, the sequence of events was clear, but what was not yet clear was what had happened before any of this began. But there was a lot to be brought to light, because in the days leading up to February the 3rd, Jason Holton had been speaking openly and publicly, and what he said would soon gain much more weight from beyond the grave. In the days before the events of this video, Jason Holton posted multiple videos to TikTok. In those videos, he identified himself as Hubby from Candace Joseph's Livestreams. And remember, Candace had over 600,000 followers on TikTok, so quite a lot of people would have known who he was. I was going to tell you what he said in those videos, but honestly, showing you would be so much better.
So what's up, everybody? A lot of you guys know me as Hubby from Candace PJ82's Live. We were together for 13 years. We officially called it quits 2 days ago. And 2 days later, she's officially engaged already again to a female named Angel. So with that being said, obviously there was an affair. But I'm going to invite you guys to a live that's going to be taking place this Tuesday at 8 o'clock a.m. I'm going to be streaming the live event. Candace and her newfound fling, who, by the way, she has never seen before, but she is moving to San Antonio, Texas, to be with this woman. So I'm going to send her or give her a going away party when they come to get her things. I'm going to have a cake. I'm going to have refreshments. I'm going to have a banner put up that says farewell to give her a good send-off. And it will be live. I want everyone to see that I am not the person that she has talked about in her previous live. She spent 2 hours bashing me, telling everybody I'm this horrible person. Anybody that knows me knows that I am not that person. She is playing the victim to try to portray herself as innocent because she done wrong. She stated also in her live that her relationship with Angel has been officially over a month now. So obviously the affair was happening and I was not aware of that. Again, guys, you will see this live Tuesday at 8 o'clock. I'm going to give her farewell party and let her go live her life after throwing away 13 wonderful years for a fling. Some of you guys may not agree with this, but some of you will. Some of you know only one side of the story. Some of you are going to learn the truth. I'm not here to bash her by any means. I will not do that. I will always have love for her, and I want her to have happiness, find peace, and to be safe. You see stories like this on the ID channel or any crime channel about people getting catfished, taken away from their families, and end up hurt or unalived. I pray that nothing happens like that for her safety and for our son Aiden. San Antonio, Texas is 18 hours away from my state of Florida where we currently reside. But she is willing to pick up and move on with someone she's doesn't really know. That's strange. Guys, please join me Tuesday at 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. I will set a reminder and I will set the story up for that time so you guys can follow along. Again, it will be a final farewell and best wishes party. Thank you guys for listening. I know this video was long. Have a great night.
Now, I will add that what Jason's saying are all allegations. This information hasn't been independently verified. I'm presenting these videos for context only. Jason says that Candice has been involved in an online affair. He claimed that their relationship started through TikTok, and then it later moved to private messaging platforms. He also alleged that Candice had gone live on TikTok for approximately 2 hours. And during that live stream, he claimed that she spoke negatively about him. He alleged that she was portraying him as a bad man. Jason stated that shortly after that live stream, Candice then changed her TikTok bio. He claimed that it went from describing her as happily married to him to then describing herself as happily engaged. Jason alleged that Candice had become engaged to another woman. He identified that woman as Angel.
Wait. Guys, you've got to know the truth. You deserve it. Let me tell you about myself. My name is Jason Holton, formerly known as Hubby in Candice PJ82's lives and on her page. Now, those of you who know me, hello. Those of you who don't, there's been a lot of things going on. I have been bashed. I have been lied about. I have been degraded and put down for the past couple of weeks. And I'm going to tell you the truth. Candice and I have been together for 13 years. Have they always been great? No, absolutely not. 13 years, couples fight. You're going to argue. But for, I would say, 12 and a half of those years, absolutely phenomenal. She's my everything. I love her with all my heart. Now, fast forward. We got together in 2013. Fast forward to 2020, the end of 2020. This app and Snapchat and them, it wasn't just the apps, created an enormous void and mistrust in our relationship. She cheated on me with a gentleman she found on TikTok, and it escalated over to Snapchat. Now, it was not just one, it was not just two, but it was several that she was sending nude pics, videos, and talking very inappropriately to. I know a lot of you guys are thinking, man, you're stupid for staying. Why stay? Kick her to the curb. It's not that easy. I love her with all my heart. She was my everything. I still love her with all my heart. At that time, love was enough to forgive. We moved past that. From 2021 until the end of 2025, we were phenomenal. Every morning, every morning I get up, I make her coffee. We sit around a little bit and relax before I leave to go to work. I would kiss her goodbye, tell her I love her. And on the way to work, I would send her good morning text. Good morning, beautiful. How did you sleep? Tell her how much I love her. Tell her how much she means to me. Tell her how much I valued her, and tell her how much I am proud of her. Every day. Then every night before bed, I always made it a point to tell her I love her and to tell her good night, even if we were fussing, which we very seldom did the latter years of our relationship. I would still make it a point to tell her that I love her and good night, because you never know what tomorrow holds. Fast forward. January 26, 2026. January 19th, 2026. I discovered that Candace was having an affair with one of the followers on her TikTok. I don't know whether to call it a guy or a girl. I do apologize because I'm unsure. So, with all due respect, I'm going to say it. I don't want to pass judgment on somebody or call them the wrong pronoun. I know how sensitive you new millennials are. Anyway, the 19th of January 2026, I found this out. We had an argument. I broke down. It shattered me. Completely shattered me. I'm telling you, I love this woman with all my heart. She is the love of my life and my person, so I thought. Sorry guys, I had to pause it for a minute. I got a little emotional. 13 years Candace and I spent together. 13. All to be thrown away from someone she's never laid eyes on. Everyone knows that you can be whatever you want to be on the internet. People can feed you lines of bullshit, and you have no other choice but to believe them because you don't know the truth. Sorry, I had to pause again. January 20th into January 21st, 2026. It was too much for me, so I thought at the time. I had so much emotional baggage and I was battling depression that I could not handle it. I attempted to unalive, and I spent 9 days in 2 different medical facilities, or a medical facility and then a mental health facility. Candace never visited me one time. Instead, she stayed home and was on the phone with it all day. She would barely answer my phone. She would barely answer my text because she was so smitten, I guess you would say, by the lies and the manipulation of it. I came home from the hospital that afternoon. We made love. Not that you guys care. I'm thinking this whole time that it's over with them. I'm willing to build our relationship back. I know, again, you guys are thinking, man, you're stupid. Twice? Come on, man. You guys have not been in my shoes. You have obviously never felt love the way that I felt about Candace. That night we made love again. The next morning we made love again. That was Friday morning, a little over a week ago. That night I caught her buying a new cell phone so I could not detect her talking to it. It was too much. I told her to go home and get some of her things and please leave. She did. Fast forward to about 4 days ago, she got on live and was bashing me for 2 solid hours, telling me how horrible of a person I am, which is so far from the truth. Those who know me know better. Guys, real quick, I just noticed the time. I'm running out of time. There will be a part 2. Bear with me. All right, guys, part 2. Sorry, I know I'm long-winded, but I've got to get the truth out there. So, we made love that morning, that evening, and the following morning. And I caught her buying another cell phone to talk to these individuals, it and other people. And I told her to get some of her things and get out of the house, please. She did. To my surprise, she not to my surprise, but she did. All this time I'm thinking that it was over between them. And I was trying to build our relationship and trying to make things right, because 13 years, man, that's a long time. I mean, we're fully vested. At least one of us was. So, sorry, I had to pause again. Sorry. So she had been staying now in this hotel for 6 days. She changed her bio status, and you guys can check it out. Again, the name is Candace PJ82. From happily married to me, Jason Holton 0304, to 2 days later, happily engaged to Angel, Angyl. How can you love someone, confess your love every day to someone, tell them that they're your everything, and break it off like you didn't exist, and then 2 days later be engaged to someone you've never laid eyes on? Today it is 3:25 a.m. Tuesday morning. Candace never laid eyes on it until yesterday afternoon. This morning at 8 o'clock, they will be here to get her things, to move from Florida to San Antonio, Texas. And she's never met this person in real life until yesterday. Make it make sense. I'm in shock. You see stuff like this all the time on TV networks. people getting catfished, people getting unalived from people they met on the internet. It baffles me that she throws 13 years away on something that is a fling. It's not going to last. It will not. Candace, you're too good of a person, for the most part, to get mixed up with something that has no morals or values. Because if they did, they would have never approached you in the first place. And if you truly love me, like you said you did, you could not have been pushed, pulled, or drug away. It doesn't happen. It's not possible. You would have never crossed that line. You would have never allowed it to cross that line. You've told me that you would never, ever do this again. You broke me. Now, guys, again, I know this is long, and I'm sorry, but if you have been in these lives, you will see that I was nothing but support for her. Many, many, many of you have reached out and told me that they wished that they had a man that would support them like I done her, and that showed the love and showed the affection towards her, because a lot of men don't do that. Well, I say a lot of men don't love as hard and as deep as the love that I felt for her. Three or 4 days ago, I was notified that there was a live going on for 2 solid hours. I was being bashed, bullied. Well, I can't say bullied because I was no part of it, but bashed, put down, and basically my name was dragged through the mud. A bunch of lies were spread, and half of you still believe it. It's so far from the truth. These lies are so far-fetched. Anyone who knows me knows that that's not true. I want everybody to know that I was a good man. I loved her unconditionally. I got completely walked on, slapped in the face, and my name slandered. Again, I cannot get on here and say much about her personality or her morals. That's for you guys to decide. I'm not gonna do it, and I'm not gonna bash her. She is and has the ability to be a great person, but she will never be content in a relationship. She's done it her whole life. Jump from place to place, person to person, use you up, and get the next one lined up and move on. It's taken me a long time to really realize that. And it has also hit home and made me realize that, or maybe question, was the love ever really there? Because it sure doesn't feel that way. You can't give up on 13 years for a temporary fling. Now, Candace, if you do see this message, which I'm sure you will, not message, but post. I love you very much. You always have a place right here. Nothing can change that. You deserve to be happy. You deserve peace. I want that for you. I absolutely do. Whether the happiness or peace was with me or with anybody else, we all deserve to be happy. But most of all, I want you to be safe. You know nothing about this individual other than what they told you over the phone and through message. 14 hours away, you're moving. You have no other people there. I pray for you, babe. I hope you're safe. Tell Aiden I love and miss him very much. I love and miss you too, very much. Be safe. Find your peace and happiness. Find someone that you can love and be faithful to. And don't let them treat you less than you deserve to be treated. Guys, I'm running out of time. Thank you for listening. I love you guys. Like and follow.
Jason also spoke about his own mental health. He stated that in January of 2026, he actually made an attempt on himself. He said he was hospitalized for approximately 9 days. He alleged that Candice did not visit him during that time, and he also says that Candice and the other woman would be coming to his house to retrieve her belongings. He stated that this would happen on the morning of February the 3rd. He also announced plans to live stream a farewell event, but that live stream never occurred. By the time Jason Holton's videos began circulating more widely, the outcome was already known. Candice and Angel were gone, and he himself was no longer alive to be questioned. Because of that, investigators have been careful about what they have confirmed publicly. Jason's claims about Candice's livestream, I've tried to verify those myself, but frustratingly on TikTok, once a live stream has been carried out, unless the account owner posts it within 30 days, it appears to just be gone forever. Let's take a look at the second woman in this situation. She has now been named by authorities as Marissa Jimenez. Friends and family knew her as Angel. She was 42 years old, and she lived in San Antonio, Texas. At the time that she met her end, Angel was indeed married to another woman. She was also a step-parent figure to her wife's young daughter. According to her spouse, Angel was deeply involved in family life, and she was referred to as Mama A by the child. Angel had previously served in the military, and her wife stated that she had struggled with health issues after her service. So she was a vet, and we know that that can come with some knock-on effects. Angel's wife shared multiple public posts describing her as loving, as loyal, and as protective of those around her. She described Angel as someone who tried to save people, even when it came at a personal cost. However, those same posts also included allegations. Angel's wife stated that Angel had been involved in a relationship with Candice Joseph. She alleged that Angel had been chasing unicorns, a phrase she used to describe pursuing special connections outside of the marriage. She further alleged that this extramarital pursuit did play a role in placing Angel at the Lake Butler home on the day of the shooting. All of these statements were made after the incident. Law enforcement has not publicly confirmed the nature of the relationship between Angel and Candice, but it seems to be all but confirmed by both spouses that the relationship was an affair. It is confirmed that Angel travelled from Texas to Florida in order to help Candice move out of the home that she shared with Jason Holton. We can imagine that Angel, being a vet, meant that Candice felt safe and secure in doing this. However, the combined decisions, along with Jason's state of mind, would have terrible consequences. Police have described this incident as DV related, but DV cases don't just exist in a vacuum. It seems that there have been a lot bubbling under the surface, and it had been happening for quite some time. Altogether, this complex emotional situation has meant that 3 people are no longer with us. Angel's stepdaughter no longer has her, nor does Candace's son. Be careful out there, and I'll see you soon.